this is another vlog on Papyrus 3D, which is the game engine thing I'm working on at the minute for creating a easy to use templating system to create basic adventure games, dungeon crawler things, turn based with using A-frame. So hopefully if I get this working, you can configure a bunch of JSON files and then you can play it in an A-frame scene, which could potentially mean VR and AR as well, is the hope anyway. So obviously like and subscribe, but also watch the other videos if you want to get fuller context on the sort of journey of this app that I've been working on, or this tool. It's like a tooling system and an engine basically. So I've been working a lot on the map editor for the last few days. So yesterday I did a live stream. I was just working on UI mostly, and also a lot of the code for downloading maps, which I've also been working on today. So yeah, we've got this basic scene where you can scroll around. It loads. So this white plane here is a template that's been loaded. It's a JSON template. It's just an array with 25 by 25 zeros in it. That's what's loading here. It could be 50, it could be 100, whatever. It has to be square. That is a limitation at the minute, but I'm just going to roll with it. Like my whole idea of this is I'm not looking to make something that's going to be, like something as good as Unity, but something that for people who just want to get something like a VR or AR adventure game similar to D&D running in WebXR in some respect. Anyway, with all that said, so this is loading a template of JSON. It's just like a bunch of. I'll show you actually. Let me just show. So the templates, and I've already talked about this a little bit before, but I'll just repeat it again. So the templates are here. So it's just square templates, like 25 by 25. You've got this data property, which just loads in an array with a bunch of zeros. Zeros represent the floor in the map, and then what happens is every time I've got a component on like an event listener for listening for the clicks, which when it's turning red at the minute, it will eventually add a wall with a texture, but at the minute I'm just using that as a guide. What I'm mostly doing is just starting to create the basic UI, sort of prototype of the UI really. So we can have different modes like walls, enemies, doors, and you can select different textures. Obviously I'll show the current texture that's selected here. And then these different drop downs will disappear and appear based on what mode you currently selected. That's the idea anyway. Today I've been working a lot on the actual downloading the map. So what happens is essentially, and it's not obviously, like I said, it's not fully working, but once it works fully, you'll have the white spaces here represent 0 in the array, which gets loaded into the template. And then the idea is that when I click to create a wall, for example, it swaps that out with a push array method to a 1, and then it will eventually show a wall sort of there as well. I'll probably get on to doing that soon because it shouldn't be that hard actually. And I've been working a lot on the downloading, because you need to obviously. One thing that I came across which was really annoying was the spacing. So the way that it needs to be structured, just due to the way that the map data object needs to be structured, needs to have so whatever the width is, 25 for example, it needs to have a new line. Now that was a bit of a pain to be honest, but so just downloaded that map, and this is like how it gets how it comes out. Why is that not opening? Oh, it is opening. I just need to open this. So these ones here are all where I've painted onto there. There is still some issues I have to work out with this. Like it seems like sometimes it's almost behind where it should be. So like you can sort of tell if you look there. Like this is this bit here. So you got one. It's 1, 1, 1, 1. That's like 3 of these. Or this seems a bit. There's probably some weird mutation stuff going on that I need to sort out in the code actually. I don't know exactly what's going on there because it doesn't always seem to be perfectly right. And then at the minute, what you do, if I wanted to load that in, so that's a 25 by 25 line array. So 25 width, 25 height. I'd copy that. I'd go to the test, just the test map I'm working on at the minute, which is this one. And I'd just do this. Oh, not that. I hate this keyboard. Do that. Ring, the corner there. I've added 2. So I just plunk it in there. Obviously this won't be like this in the final version. This will, in the final version, this very file, this very format will be completely outputted, but for now I'm just obviously trying to get the map rendering correct. So I've now put that in there. This engine is currently configured to render.scene, so it should render something. So yeah, we get, but obviously there are gaps. So that, so if you look, is like, that is partly what should be being rendered, but it's also off as well. So I'm trying to figure out at the minute why that's happening. But it's just something I'm working on at the minute. But that's the whole 20. So all the floor here is the zeros. This is the 1. But obviously I need to get it. So maybe we could try it out now. Actually, if I just refresh this, I could do one more map and just see what happens, I guess. So if I try and make a bigger, like a semi-coherent structure or something, see what happens. So I'm still, like I said, I'm still working on this. It's been quite annoying with the, I was a bit stuck yesterday on how to add the new lines to the, because basically it takes the array, stringifies it, and then passes it like for JSON. But I had to still work on a few different other things for that. So I'll try and create something that's almost a coherent map and see what happens. Because that should be like that. Obviously, like you can see from the top view, if that once that's rendered into the first person, it should be like a coherent-ish. I think it's quite a good idea to have this map editor because, yeah, I mean, nobody wants to edit by hand, and it just makes it more visual. And, I mean, otherwise it would just be really tough to use. It really just, it's only going to be probably going to make it so you can support 4 texture slots or something. I don't want to go over the top of it, you know. But I don't know. It might grow with complexity once I figure out some new things I can do. But I'll just make this room. And this will be like the sort of tool that... So the idea I've sort of had is it, in the similar way to in D&D, you have the dungeon master who designs all these dungeons. So this would be a desktop app, obviously, but then it would have the ability to be used in AR, VR. AR is a cool idea if I can actually get that working. But I'm going to worry about that later. I'm going to get the core engine code working first, and then if I can somehow translate this into AR, that would be amazing. But I'm not going to worry about it too much yet. So, but it would be cool if you could do that. That would really. I've just figured out I could just click and drag that. It's cool. So I want to just do this, replace everything. So like I said, this is replacing the zeros, which is the floor. Well, it should be, though I'm not sure if it's completely working, like I said, with the 1 element, which in the engine, when the basic scene is rendered, the engine knows that a 1 should be a wall. It's the basic type wall of a certain texture allocation. Okay, let's go do. So that's, I mean, that should probably give us something. So download that map. Open it up again. Go here. Let's do this. It looks like, yeah, it looks like again it's gone. Is that definitely the right one? I think. I bet this is something like. I've probably made it a letter. It's probably a letter of const thing because it doesn't seem to be overwriting that. Yeah. There we go. I bet that's what it is actually. I bet I've just. I'm going to assume. Anyway, I don't know. But I'm thinking that's probably to do with. Where's the code for it? Engine code, tool code. Let's see. So we just go to the code. I'm going to assume that that's something to do with. I know why. This is a good lesson in let and const actually. This should because it's a const, it can never be rewritten, so it can never be reassigned. So that's probably why that's happening. And I've also made this on let too. I'm guessing anyway. This will be interesting. If it works now, then that's good because I've fixed that bug in real time. So basically, let's just go again. Because before, like it was just maybe returning the first. So I'll just do this quickly. I wonder if it was that. If it is that, that's good actually, because it means that it's just because it was never being reassigned that variable. Which is very definitely, it's really important to remember that when you're using variables in JavaScript. To read this a second, because that can really catch you out. Like if that's what this is, that literally is what just happened. It just caught me out. I just random. Spend ages creating this like an architect in it sort of thing. I'm just gonna create a simple map, which should be, if it works, if my intuition's correct, should now render something like this thing, I guess. Like the code needs a lot of tidying up. It's dealing with data structures and arrays, so it's quite fiddly stuff, as anyone who's ever messed with those. If doing array manipulation, you have to really be careful as well. Always the thing is, you don't want to. It can get really complicated really fast if you're not careful, and it's so easy, I think, with array manipulation to accidentally overcomplicate it, sort of thing. So I'm trying to avoid that, but when you're in that prototypal stage, it's quite hard not to sometimes. Anyway, we should get like a fair general idea of that from there. Let's open this up again. Okay, so I've got. I didn't think it was the same. Yeah, it's the same. So that's strange. There's obviously a bug. So I do need to work on this still. There's obviously something going on there because we've got almost the same structure as well. It's the same actually. Yeah, it always seems to be the same. So there's obviously a bug. But anyway, I'm working on that. I'll leave it there. I thought maybe it would be that it's not reassigning or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'll leave the video there. That's sort of an update on how it's coming along. Just getting. I think once I've done this map editor, and then I can just produce maps, and I know that it's going to be the same across in the engine itself and in the map editor. That'll be a good step, because then I can just. Yeah, it just simplifies the process of map making, which is a feature that's required anyway, so I think it's worth doing at this point. Anyway, and also like as I'm going along, I can have new ideas about the actual creation of the maps and features and stuff, without going too far and just trying to get this feature done. That's me. Alright, bye.